Bored and annoyed.
Hello and welcome to another episode of B&A Reviews. I'm Jackson.
And I'm home at the movies.
And this week we've got the big Captain Marvel to talk about.
I'm just a girl.
Oh, God. Oh, see, I forgot all about that.
I'm just a girl.
I'm not gonna fight your war. I'm gonna end it.
And here I was going to go into this like, oh, they didn't really, it didn't bother me too much, but that part was a little much.
It's a little on the nose.
But yeah, my first thought is that the old boy is at Geeks and Gamers, the assholes who just wanted to end every movie. They must be really upset because this thing crushed it as far as I could tell.
Yeah, 455 million opening weekend, just massive.
So basically, it hit what Alita needed to break even in its opening weekend.
In a weekend.
Including like 150 something domestic?
153. Yeah. That's crazy. For a new property, never been introduced in another movie other than a quick teaser at the end of, fourth or fifth biggest movie of all time.
It's that Avengers connection, I think. And honestly, I think all the buzz, like, considering what the movie ended up being, and spoilers, I thought it was pretty generic.
Yeah, it was fine.
This like negative, positive buzz bullshit probably helped it greatly.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine that had no conversation been happening about that, that people would have come out of this like, you have to see this.
Well, you know what I'm wondering is, do you think that it affected normal Joe Schmo in any way? Because we know about it because we follow that shit. But I brought it up to people who are just normal people.
They don't give a shit.
They didn't even know about it.
Are they like Marvel fans who go to every Marvel movie? Or
no, they're just the thing is now the average moviegoer is kind of a Marvel
that's kind
fan.
of true.
It's the strength of the brand is insane at this point. But yeah, we're here to review the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Not the studio.
Though. It's it's just kind of fucking funny. It's you idiots. Like, first of all, it just makes you hate everyone and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They just everybody. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, tie your politics in this for no fucking reason, and it ended up being just a movie.
Yes, it was a movie. It was a very bland, normal movie.
It's just a movie. Let's get our grades right out of the way. It's a C for me. It's fine. It's a complete C.
Yeah, I'm a C, maybe C minus. I don't know. But no, it's not like I didn't walk out like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah.
I wasn't engaged during the movie. I was kind of just like sitting there like, okay, I feel like I've seen this before.
Yep. As a fan of the Marvel comics and sort of like this Skrull-Kree war, I walked out of two minds, which was, one was, as a movie, it's fine. But as something based on a source material, it was a big missed opportunity. There was...
See, I don't know anything about the character.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So that's where I'm like, it could have been great. It was just okay.
What do you think of like introducing this big, huge character at this point?
I think the thing is that I feel like with the way the Marvel universe was going, this kind of thing was going to happen eventually. This sort of like retroactive, there was a powerful character before you knew them thing was going to happen. Because
you couldn't just have little kids
and because you run the risk of just Marvel just doing the same old like, oh, here's a new hero, they develop their powers, blah blah blah.
Okay.
And chronologically you're like, okay, so it's kind of funny how Iron Man came out and the Hulk came out and Captain America got thawed out and Thor got, and all these things just sort of happen to happen all at the same time. It sort of makes your universe seem very strange and almost happenstance where everybody's getting superpowers all within the same 5-year span.
It's just weird though. But it's like I was thinking a lot after the movie of like, what did this really add as far as Endgame is concerned? Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, is it more interesting to have this character that I now don't really like nearly as much as any of the other characters show up and be like, I'm assuming she's going to be like the difference maker in the battle with Thanos. And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking like, is that better, or would it have been better to just have her show up and you know nothing about her and she just shows up as a badass and you're going to find out more about her going into the next?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I mean, I have seen people come in and who are like, oh, here comes this character. She's got no backstory. It's kind of like what you were saying with that Geeks and Gamers or whatever the hell that.
Oh, yeah,
that
sure.
thing was.
Yep.
It's kind of like that where they're like, oh, we know nothing about her and then she's going to save the day from Thanos. And I'm like, but that's what the Solo movie is for, is to make you learn about her. If she did come in just an Endgame and she was this big difference maker, I think those people might have a leg to stand on, but I think since she has her own Solo, the point is moot.
But it's not very good.
She's
not very interesting.
It's not very good.
So you're going to have her showing up and you've got all these fucking characters who you have this like lasting memory of for the last decade. And they're all, to me, more interesting than she is. And she's the one that's going to like drive the stake through Thanos. I mean, that's in our next episode that we're recording.
Right.
But, I don't know. And either way, like I said, I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
I don't know if it even makes sense to bring in another character at this point, but
that was kind of my question, is another character necessary? It doesn't even matter how well this movie went over. It's a matter of, shouldn't Endgame be basically the finale? Like there, and it even, for me, it even goes like, I don't even know if I really want Ant-Man there, because this is going to be for a lot of these characters kind of a send-off in Endgame. It's going to be contractually a lot of their last movies. Shouldn't we try and put the focus on them?
Yeah, but at least like if Paul Rudd shows up in character, it's going to be like fun. Like,
that's true.
I just don't find her fun. But I guess let's get into the movie.
Yeah. So what did you like about it?
I mean, I like the concept of the whole Kree, Skrull war thing. I liked Ben Mendelsohn.
He was actually, I thought he was great.
I liked the kitty cat. What's its name? What's its name? Goose. Yeah. Oh, get it, Goose, because
yeah, Top Gun.
But yeah, I liked that. I thought Samuel L. was pretty great.
Yep, he was great. I actually liked, and I know you don't agree, I actually thought Bree was good. I felt like the problem with Bree's character was the writing around her.
I thought she was bad.
Okay,
but again, to your point, we've talked about this before. Like the other week, I think I said like, oh, can we try Hayden Christensen without George Lucas?
Right.
You never know. But this is like, we had this conversation about Henry Cavill recently, where it's like, he's a good Superman, but can he do Clark Kent?
Right.
And so much of this character in Captain Marvel, that's kind of how I felt. Like, I think of her performance in like Room.
Yeah.
And she was fucking phenomenal in that. But that's a very dramatic role.
I think of her in just about any movie that she's been in, and she's been good. I mean, I think of her in, they're bit roles, but like in Scott Pilgrim.
Okay.
She was really good. She was the ex-girlfriend of that. Yep. She's really good. Caricature almost, but really good. She was in 21 Jump Street as sort of the love interest for Jonah.
That's
Hill.
funny. I don't even remember that.
And she's good and she's likable in that. She gets on the drugs at one point and goes crazy. Went to the hotel. She's a good actress.
The last couple things I've seen her in, not so hot.
Really?
So I didn't think she was good in Kong.
I didn't think many people were good in Kong. I don't think really anybody was good in Kong.
Samuel L. was good in Kong.
Samuel, he was fine.
He was fun.
I feel like the only good...
And the Step Brothers guy was pretty good in Kong, too, as like the goofy fucker who's like been stuck on the island.
He was a caricature, so he was by nature good because he's one-dimensional.
So the other one was, and I can't even remember the name of this movie, but she was the star of it, and I turned it off. It's like people all meet in like a parking garage to do like a gun deal or something, and I don't think she was horrible, but I don't know. I don't want to say she's a bad actress. I just don't know. Like the scenes where she was like doing like the sarcastic thing or like making like she had a comment about, which was one of my favorite scenes. And I thought it kind of broke the scene, was when she has these like things stuck on her fucking arms and she's like trying to get them off. Yeah. And she said, how do you get these off? Or she said some smart ass thing. And I'm just like,
you guys wouldn't happen to have a key, would you? Something like that.
And it was so much of this, and you might be right, could be the script, could be the direction, whatever, but so much of this fell incredibly flat as far as the humor was concerned.
I thought a lot of the humor managed to work, but to your point, there was a fair bit that did just kind of fall flat.
Horrible.
And you,
right.
and you weren't like, that was terrible. You weren't like, oh my God, I can't believe this. But you were just kind of like, okay, well, that happens.
And the problem is you put that next to the movies that we've expected from
Guardians.
Marvel over the years.
That's the problem with this movie is if this had come in phase 1,
like
we would
before we knew
what Marvel would be, we'd be like, all right, fine.
It's pretty impressive.
It's fine.
Good,
It's a fine Marvel movie.
Right.
Now we've gotten used to Black Panther, Ragnarok, Infinity War, just massively entertaining, really good movies. And we're just kind of, we expect more out of you guys now.
Even like Thor, Ragnarok, or to me, and I know you probably disagree, but like the second Ant-Man movie, like at least it's funny. It's like I'm laughing throughout the fucking movie. It has a shit villain and the story's kind of just blah.
It's my least favorite Marvel movie.
Okay.
But
had better action in my opinion than this did.
I kind of disagree.
This movie,
both of those movies have lackluster, unimpressive action
that
scenes.
has some fun shit in it with like the people getting smaller and bigger, and they do some neat
It's
things.
the same joke over and over and over.
This is like, there's a fight in this on a spaceship, and it's cutting back and forth, kind of doing like the Star Wars thing where there's like a fight going on here, and they're trying to escape over here.
Yep.
And it's like the main fight. It's like her versus the villain in the spaceship.
Kind of. It's like the precursor, I would say, to the main fight. Yeah.
But god damn, it was just like, this is your
climax?
What is this? Yeah, I couldn't, it wasn't easy to tell what was happening.
Yep.
It was dark.
It was very unimpressive. I would say visually, this movie was very unimpressive. I looked up the cinematographer on this, and I'm kind of like, he's got a good track record. So I'm like, what happened here? And at the end of the day, I really think all the blame can be laid at the two directors' feet, the man and woman who directed this.
Sure.
I feel like after seeing their filmography, pretty uninspired overall, like fine movies, but kind of boring, which you remember that I mentioned that?
That's kind of typically what they do, right? They kind of grab these like obscure.
Yes. And I think that this was a case of they grabbed people who were not ready. They were not up to the challenge of doing a big budget Marvel movie, because they also rewrote the script that Marvel had. And I would say they rewrote it for the worse, because there are certain things in this. This is told non-sequentially.
Yeah, because they can't, like, they tried to make it different, and it kind of undercuts the movie.
It undercuts it emotionally. But I also understand why they did it, because if you do it in chronological order, it's just another origin story.
It's the exact same, right?
Yes.
It's Captain America again.
Basically. Yeah. And if you do it this way, it's a little bit more interesting because there's some mystery and intrigue or whatever. But the point is that you've undercut the emotional beats of the movie, and that doesn't work. That's my whole problem, is that Carol's arc, she doesn't have a great arc.
And I'm going to get into that once you're done with this point.
But she doesn't have a great arc, and you don't feel it. And I don't think it's a man-woman, you can't identify with that thing. I think it's just a matter of it's not emotionally engaging enough, and it's not a universal thing.
Well, and I'm sorry, but like even, not to offend anyone, but even to the women out there, how is this a message for them? She loses in everything she does to men throughout her life. Like, hold on.
But the idea is that she never gives up, because there's that whole montage of her standing up.
Fine, but you can never give up. But the only reason she can beat any of these men, as far as we know from the information we're given, is that this thing created a superhero out of her.
Okay. Do you want to go into spoilers so I can kind of deal with that point? Yes. That's true. But the message that they're going for is that she was told what to be her whole life.
Okay.
And once she realized that she could be what she wants to be, and she should be what she really is, that's when she can embrace her true power. Now, that's all well and good and fine. But the problem is that we don't feel it all that much, because we never really saw her lose all that much.
They show that they throughout the movie, you see these moments like her in the go-karting accident, or her trying out for the Air Force and doing the thing, and she's losing to men, and all of them.
But it's not big enough, and they're quick flashback scenes that are like, when I say quick, I mean like 15, 20 seconds kind of shit fast.
Yes, and then at the end, they turn it into this montage of her standing up, and they do kind of a neat thing. Yeah. I would say that was kind of neat, but you're right. But you're right. At that point, it's like, that doesn't mean nearly as much as it should.
Yes.
Because you never lived with the character during these moments in her life.
Exactly. Because we're going through this sort of like adventure of like who she is and what's her history.
Right.
And since that is taking precedent over the emotional arc, we don't feel it that much.
Sure.
So we're into spoilers, correct?
I mean, I would say so. Sure.
Okay. So the twist about Ben Mendelsohn, pretty freaking good.
It wasn't bad. I liked it. Even though it was weird, I was so confused during this because I was, there's Hansu. There's what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, I'm assuming he's playing the same character.
Yep.
I was like, isn't he a bad guy? But then I kind of just like forgot about it. But if I was like up on my shit, I feel like I would have like picked up on the fact that something like he was kind of a villainous character when I had last seen him.
Well, the problem is they almost kind of, with the Kree, they almost kind of make you see them as like a one-dimensional kind of cult.
Right. Okay.
And that's where like the Kree Skrull War is where I really feel like there is missed opportunities with Bree's her arc.
Sure.
But the Kree Skrull War is incredibly simplistic.
You thought it was boring, right?
And the thing is like, I understand what they were going for. They're going for like, oh, little green men, usually evil. Look at this, they're refugee
stand-ins.
They
look like monster.
Yeah. They're the refugee stand-ins. And the problem with that is that, okay, you kind of dealt with like, there's almost like thematically an idea of like Carol needs to not take what she's told for granted.
Sure.
And then basically she's just told by what was thought to be a bad guy that they're good guys.
That is true. She just believes it.
Yeah. And it just becomes incredibly simplistic. It's just inverted. And I found that to be not very interesting. And it's also not true to the comics. The Skrulls are
the bad guys.
They're bad guys. Kree is also bad guys. It's two bad guys fighting.
Well, maybe there's more to learn down the road.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, you're clearly franchise building. You're waiting for a twist to be like, oh, look, the Skrulls can also be bad. But it's like, guess what? That should have been where you started, because now me as a viewer, I'm no longer that interested because it's so cartoonishly simplistic. You could have had like this amazing sort of stand-in for like the Middle East and like maybe we're all kind of wrong. You know, you could have had like something mean something, but I also think it's kind of...
Yeah, but who's the Middle East? Like the Skrulls weren't like strapping bombs to their chests and running into buildings where they could be, I guess.
I'm saying they both should have kind of been...
Yeah, that is a good point. It's like from the way they presented it, it's like the entire race of both of these beings are one thing. Like they didn't show that there was like any sort of societal rift between Skrulls and Skrulls, or you'd think you'd have some Skrulls that were like, no, fuck the Kree, and then there'd be some that are like, no, we need to make peace with them, whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, you're right. That does not exist in this.
Right. Well, and I love sort of the
doesn't help that you also only know like 8.
Yes. Yeah. You know a team. And it's sort of like if you did any research on this at all before the movie, you would know that all the characters that are listed are actually villains that were on her original team.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like you're just waiting for that to happen.
Sure.
You're like, okay, Jude Law is a bad guy. Fine. See it coming you almost do see it coming a million miles away in the movie.
Yeah. Well, he's a good bad guy, typically.
Right. And I was like, that would have been great if she found out he was a bad guy. And the Skrulls had stayed. Now, it was nice. Ben Mendelsohn was hilarious.
He was good.
But I just feel like narratively, it's a huge missed opportunity.
There were so many just like tropey bullshit things too. Like, oh, the family is hiding on the ship. Like, it was just...
I also didn't like that they threw in the Tesseract there just to be like, the thing that you remember.
I'm confused by that too.
Right, yeah,
because
we
wasn't the Tesseract the thing that like the Red Skull had? Like,
yep. And
so
then
where did it?
Red Skull disappeared. The thing fell through like the ship that he was on. It fell to the ocean.
Okay.
Then Tony Stark's dad's like looking for it. He eventually finds it at the end of the first Captain America, and that's how it ends up with S.H.I.E.L.D. But now the question is like, okay, somebody got it in between the time that S.H.I.E.L.D. had it, and then it was taken by these aliens for a little while, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. got it back. That seems to be the timeline of it. You following me?
Yeah, but I think it's stupid.
It's kind of stupid. It was
now
unnecessary.
You have to fix that now.
It was unnecessary. I did find it a little interesting. I was like, oh, she's powered by like one of the Infinity Stones, so that's kind of an interesting tie. So we've got basically 2 women that are powered by, and 1 dude. So we've got Vision, you got Scarlet Witch, and then you've got Captain Marvel, all powered by the stones. That's kind of interesting.
Which ones of those characters died in Infinity War? Vision died?
Both Vision and Scarlet Witch. Okay. So she's kind of the last vestige of the children of the Infinity Stones, as I'm going to call them.
The children. All right. So Goose. Reason I liked Goose. I liked the idea, like that. Those bits to me were really funny. Not so much his alien, but the idea that they're like scanning him, and they're like, oh, like I forget
what the level high.
Yeah, I forget what the name of the alien was.
Yeah, Flark and Floof.
Because I wasn't like at first. I'm like, okay, is it an alien or is it just a cat? Because if it's just a cat, it's kind of just as clever. Because
I almost wish it had been.
Right, it almost would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But then it was that fucking alien, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
The massive spoiler, I guess, is we find out how
Fury.
Mace Windu lost his eye.
Mace Windu. Yeah, that was fine. I mean, there's a certain level, and Marvel understands this, that no matter what you do, there was going to be a certain level of disappointment.
It's hilarious
because you built it up.
People are mad about that because that's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was a little stupid because I think it's the nature of the tone of Winter Soldier. When he says, last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye, you're like, oh shit, this is a serious movie. It must have been a serious situation. Yeah. Then Marvel undercuts that with humor here, which is fine because basically no matter what they did, people were going to be probably a little disappointed.
It kind of makes sense for the character though, that he would like try and present it chest all puffed up like it was this.
I do like that.
You know what I mean?
I do like that take.
So that kind of worked for me. I do think it was kind of dumb when they keep asking him how his eye is. And he's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know. I'm just sitting there like, come on.
I wished that my prediction, you remember my prediction going into this?
No, what was it?
It was that.
Or I might remember it when you say it.
It was that Sam Jackson would keep on getting into situations. It would be a running gag throughout the movie where, oh no, did he hit his eye? And it would kind of be a joke.
Oh, okay.
And they did it the one time. And I was like, oh man, just like one more time.
And you could have said you got it right.
Well, I think, not just that. I think it would have actually been a good bit.
Okay.
I do. I don't care if I'm right. I just think it's a good idea for a bit. And I didn't even come up with it. I stole it from somebody else. So
soundtrack in this.
Real hit or miss. A little too much on the nose. Love Nirvana. Not placed well in this.
You didn't think so?
I didn't think so.
Which scene did they play? It was
when she goes and talks to the Supreme Intelligence.
Okay, and they did the whole "come as you are."
Yeah, shit. Yeah. But I was like, okay, well, fine. A little weird because it's like, well, Carol went missing. This takes place in 94 or 95, something like that. So she went missing in 90. So I don't even think she's heard Nirvana unless she heard it in the car ride with Nick Fury driving to that one station. Okay. So, I mean, maybe she heard it. It just didn't really fit to me. It felt forced. Same with the No Doubt song.
The No Doubt song was just like, that was when I like seriously kind of lost it on the.
And I like both songs quite a bit, but just forced.
Yeah. It doesn't really make sense in the scene.
Yeah.
Like nobody pressed play on a fucking radio, did they? It was just music.
No.
Like it was where you normally put like the action music, like the orchestra music or something.
How simple would that have been? They had like ping pong or not ping pong. The whatchamacallit in there.
Like a boombox or something?
No, they had the pinball table.
Okay.
Pinball machine. They had that in there, so you could have easily had a jukebox that somebody
right.
runs into. I know it's cliche. I don't give a shit. It would have at least...
It makes more sense.
It makes more sense. But the problem is that there you felt the dichotomy. One, it was so on the nose, the whole I'm just a girl thing. But also, you felt the dichotomy between this really sort of energetic, pump you up kind of song and then this sort of lackluster action scene.
In
You're
the
like,
dark.
I'm like, this could have been great. It really, like an action
It
scene.
should have been like a bar fight song.
That would have been, yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like-
would have loved a bar fight with her. I did like Brie Larson in this. I like her character. I kind of like her, but like I said, I like her character. I don't like the arc she's given.
I don't like her character. There's nothing
There's
to
not
me
much.
that
There's not much there. You could have added huge pathos to her, but you didn't.
I think that if this is the attitude of the character, if this, like, I don't know much about her, even though I saw the movie. I mean, she was just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
They better think of something. I mean, I guess not, because it made $8 billion. But it just seems to me that this is not a character. This is not. You don't have Tony Stark here,
right?
You don't have.
You don't have Captain America. You don't have Thor, even.
Right. Right. And I guess and it was funny because I was thinking, I'm thinking in circles, insulting this movie in my head when it was over. But like I was like, oh, she's kind of boring for a Marvel character. And then I thought, well, Captain America's kind of boring too. But then Captain America his character isn't like the quippy, he has his one-liners once in a while that are kind of self-deprecating because he's like the dummy that's from the 20s or whatever. But that's not what she is.
Well, and that's not his shtick.
Right.
And the thing that works about him is that he has tremendous pathos about being a man out of time, having lost everything.
Sure.
Like you feel for him because he has a very tragic story.
Right. Now with her, I don't know what her shtick is. Like,
right.
Is she like the fish out of water character? Is she the fucking like sarcastic Tony Stark? Like
she doesn't have.
I don't get what she is. I don't.
She doesn't fit quite within an archetype that we can point to and say like. And what I would like to see her be is probably like a Han Solo-y type character.
Oh God, she doesn't have it for that.
Maybe not. I think the thing is that I think you could do it. I do think that there's potential there. I have complete faith in Brie to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, no.
But what I want, and I don't see it based on the scene that we saw from Endgame.
Right.
In this, I don't see that being the case. But I would like to see that because I would like to see a Han Solo in space female character who's this powerful.
Yeah, but
it would make sense for her to be like this arrogant and this cocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like you've almost already got that with Chris Pratt's character in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but
only he has something that she does not have, which is charisma. She's not likable in this. She's not fun.
Like I said, I'm going to blame that on the script.
Okay,
I really am because
well, that's reserve judgment for part 2.
That's kind of where I'm at. Is like if it's. One, I feel like if they hire the same directors, they've already signed themselves up to fail.
Okay. Probably not, which is sad, but that's just
not financially.
Financially, okay.
But from an artistic standpoint, I think it would be a big misstep.
Okay.
But yeah, if they don't hire them, then we can really truly see what Brie can do with this role. Because
it's funny because to your point, like I think Brie Larson, from what I've seen, is a way better actress than Gal Gadot.
Yes.
Or Gadot. I'm sorry. But fucking A, if Gal Gadot wasn't just a better, more fun character, better at playing whatever part she was given to play in that movie.
They gave her an archetype and they gave her a tried and true fish out of water, naive character to play.
And it worked well. Right.
The problem is that they kind of wanted Carol to be sort of all things to all people. And it didn't really work. You had to kind of pick a lane with her. And I felt like I wanted to see her be like this character who maybe to her own detriment loves like battle or something. And she goes in headstrong to things when she's maybe not prepared.
I just picture her facial expressions and it was funny because I think I said this when I saw the first trailer. Like I was just like, I know it's probably going to be good, which it wasn't. I wouldn't consider this like really good.
It's fine.
I expected Marvel would put something out better than this.
Yeah.
I thought that the trailer was just the trailer. and it would come out and I'd be like, okay, I was wrong. But I don't feel like I was wrong in saying that there's just something wooden about the character in the trailer. And I was hoping that it kind of was like a RoboCop type thing, or like a, you know, like a part of her character, but it really didn't. It wasn't. It
was because they established the whole, like, you need to control your emotions at the beginning of the movie thing. Like, there were moments that I really truly loved. Like, I loved the scenes where she was with, like, that bar scene where she's like, a Skrull can't do that when she shoots the jukebox.
Okay.
I liked that. I liked when she saw the Skrull and the Skrull's coming at her and she's like, ah! After it yells at her. I was like, that's pretty good. There are, and then the scene where, like,
she thinks that was terrible.
She thinks the Skrull, whole theater enjoyed the movie more than I did. I mean, that's just a fact. But the whole theater laughed like quite heartily at that.
Yeah,
I love the whole bit where, like, she's at her friend's house and she she thinks that one of the neighbor is the Skrull, and she's kind of giving, like, I'm watching you, Talos.
Oh yeah, terrible.
I liked that.
No, she was terrible and all that kind of shit. She was terrible with the little girl.
I liked the emotion with when she finally meets her friend. And I can't remember her friends because her friend. That's sort of the problem too.
Was there emotion?
There was emotion when she felt like there was. I don't want to say you should watch it again because I don't know if I'll watch it again.
I'll probably see it again eventually, but
I almost, because I had friends be like, and I saw one of our poolside podcast. Derek. Yeah. He saw that and he gave it a 10 out of 10.
Well, he's wrong.
I would disagree. And two of my better friends, they both saw it and they both said they really liked it. So I'm like, I mean, maybe I just wasn't in the right mood. Maybe it's just the fact that I was disappointed they didn't give me everything that I wanted.
Maybe they don't see 7,447 movies a year.
Equally good point.
I mean, that's our problem, really.
I think that's part of it, but I also think that this just was incredibly bland.
It was.
What did you give it for a grade? C, C minus?
I'm going to give it a C.
Okay. So
C.
We're in agreement.
I know I shit on it, but that's just because I expect better.
Yeah.
It's an average movie.
It's an average movie.
It's not in the top. It's in the bottom, like, 4 of movies I've seen this year, because I've actually seen some pretty fucking good ones. But
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's fine. But yeah, if you guys want to check it out, go see it. If you don't, you probably have just as great of a time.
You don't need to see it to see Endgame.
No,
as far as I'm concerned.
No,
unless you want to know who she is, but you still kind of are a little confused as to what.
I did want to say the ending fight scene when she's doing the whole Dragon Ball Z thing is fine. Like, it was to me, it was like the best thing as far as action goes.
The flaming mohawk, and
I think it's a badass look. Like, I think it's really cool.
It looks cool when her helmet, like, comes off and her hair, like, flips kind of.
Yeah. It's a good look. It's just better
that
script.
Thing they did where her hair was hanging over her face and she, like, blew it out of her.
Oh, I liked that.
Oh, it was so painful.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, they did. I just think that the character was kind of.
I mean, I
don't know what the fuck's going on.
I'm not disagreeing in that they did not make her as identifiable as they should have. They really should have hit that arc hard.
Well, they should have chosen a path. They should have said, okay, she's going to be like a straight-laced Captain America type, or she's going to be like a really funny type. I think if you're going the funny type route, you don't cast Brie Larson, but that's my opinion.
I think she can do humor.
I think there's comedic actresses that are better choices. That's my opinion. But
right. But anyways,
but that's not to say I know Brie Larson's good. She certainly deserved her Academy Award for Room.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I don't think she's bad. I just don't know if this was right. But.
And I'm kind of reserving judgment. I want to see what the Russos can do with him or her.
Oh, you just called it a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just called it a man.
Yeah.
The hero.
The hero, yeah.
Yeah, the hero.
But the Russos tend to do a better job than most solo directors, so.
We'll see.
Yeah.
They sure made everybody work together in the last one.
Fuck yeah, they did.
It was perfect.
Yeah. So that's the end of the episode, though, right?
That is. I've been Jackson.
I've been Home at the Movies. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.